Robin's last time on the big screen is very much so the opposite of what many consider to be the definitive live-action adaptation version of the character. No disrespect to Chris O'Donnell, but straight up the fusion of the absurd dialogue and over-sexualized pajama parties made the Burt Ward iteration look like the Dark Knight of Robin. The movies never got to really explore the Robins beyond Dick Grayson. We haven't even seen a Nightwing yet. But we've gotten a Guardians of the Galaxy what? I'm not dissing the Guardians. I'm just saying that hardly anyone knew who they were before it became a box office hit. In the past DCEU films, Jason Todd was the most referenced to out of all of the sidekicks, with Harley Quinn's intro card telling it flat out, and the burnt costume sitting in the Batcave. I can dig the dark tone DC setting, but why did they keep the booty shorts? Just why? There were lots of rumors that the movie version of Jason Todd would actually turn out to be the Joker as opposed to his original arc, where he dons the mantle of the Red Hood. That was soon debunked by the director, so yeah. Anyways, I'll be listing a handful of ways as to how the Red Hood could be introduced into this extended universe. There may be spoilers from certain arcs from Batman comics or video game lore, so there's the warning. You may like some of these, and you may hate some, but we gotta come up with something, cause man, even the YouTubers are beating him up now.
Before you mess with Batman, you gotta get to all 109 pounds of me! Robin, the boy!
Number 1. A Death in the Family. This one's the obvious choice, so might as well get it out of the way first. The screenwriters could just take from the original story from which the concept came from, and that's the 4-issue comic A Death in the Family. The plot revolves around, of course, Jason Todd, who has been acting reckless alongside Batman. Long story short, he finds out that his assumed to be dead mother was actually his stepmom, so he dips to go find his real birth giver. He eventually finds her, but little did he know she was in cahoots with Oscar the Grouch. She pretty much gets flattened like a pancake and dies. Ideally, this would take up 2 movies to tell, because if they were going to introduce him this way, they'd need to set up Robin's relation with Batman in the first film, and then in the sequel, have him come back as the Red Hood. If you jam in both of those story arcs down into one movie, Jason Todd might not be fully developed as a character, and his death scene would feel like nothing to us. You want the audience to care for him before he dies. The last thing we need is another not so interesting, more so annoying sidekick. You could sacrifice our emotional investment in Robin to rush the storyline and fan service, but it's like chowing down on some boiling hot soup. If you burn the roof of your tongue the first time, what makes you think it'll cool down the next second? Learn from your mistakes, don't repeat the past, wait for it to chill out. Or if the filmmakers wanted to mix it all into one movie, Under the Red Hood illustrates beautiful use of flashbacks for character setup that didn't interrupt the flow of the story narrative at all. I'm talking about the animated film, by the way, not the comic book. I mean, they could go that route too, but I'm more familiar with animation. The short movie cut out all of the extra subplots, including Todd's mom and Superman's involvement with the whole thing. It focuses not so much on the dynamic between Batman and Robin, but the tension between Bruce Wayne and Jason Todd, the people behind the mask. Of course, they wouldn't want to mimic it verbatim. You gotta change it up a bit. It's cheating 101. You want to keep it on the down low. Maybe this Jason Todd has camo skins on his dual pistols or something, as opposed to whatever he originally had. Number 2, the ARKHAM Knight. If the DC films wanted to stray a little farther away from the source material, they could go with this concept. I'm not talking about giving the title Arkham Knight to Red Hood, but one that will keep even DC comic fans guessing as to who could be under the mask. Though it may come off as predictable, as thousands of people speculated that the Arkham Knight was Jason Todd way before the game actually came out. Going down the way they went about it in the game, this would also enable DC to bring Jason Todd to life without taking away from the feeling of death. Look, opinions are opinions, but when Superman ate crap a while back, I didn't empathize for him one bit. Not cause I hate Superman, but cause Justice League was coming out the next year. I knew he was coming back. In Arkham Knight, Jason never really dies. He's tortured for months on end. That clip of when Joker seemingly kills Jason by shooting him in the chest was intentionally made by the Joker to make it look like he killed Jason. He was wearing body armor. It was all a part of the guy's plan to make it seem like Batman gave up on him. Not saying Batman is a bad guy or anything, but replacing a Robin like that within 30 days or something was sort of a dick move. You painted yourself into a corner with that one. He later tries to play it off like it wasn't like that. And for sure, we don't have the context behind the whole situation, but let's be real. At this point, he's like that one dad that flat out says he loves the eldest son the most in front of the youngling.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places.
Unlike most variations, this plot actually has Jason brainwashed into hating Batman. Not disgusted by the fact that he didn't kill the Joker to avenge him, but he utterly hates Bruce for abandoning him, trading him in like a pre-owned GameStop video game. Overall, this would be a cool idea, but I think it's pretty predictable. Number 3, a Winter Soldier. One of the biggest problems with bringing Robin onto the big screen is that he's commonly portrayed as a kid. Letting a minor do those kinds of dangerous things would be irresponsible of Batman. So, to solve that problem, age him up. In the original Captain America source material, Bucky was essentially the Robin of the Marvel world. He was Steve's sidekick and, well, a kid. Now in the movies, he is less the protege in training and more so the best friend / ideal relationship. I'm not saying make Jason Todd his BFF too, but make him more like an actual partner than a kid, while still keeping the essential traits that define Jason for who he is. Though, instead of having some sort of Hydra-like entity twisting his mind, you could keep the parts from the Arkham Knight idea where Joker corrupts him. Keep all the reasons as to why he grew to hate Batman, minus the replacement part because Batman probably doesn't have a third Robin yet in his timeline. Except this time, you could even go as far as to make him somewhat of a Joker sidekick. A nightmarish reflection of what the original Batman and Robin, Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson, could have been. Then in the Batman solo movie, Nightwing could cameo in the final fight alongside Bruce to tango with these mangoes. You gotta admit though, it's almost certain that a lot of people will get butthurt at the fact that Jason would be willing to team up with the Joker. Because even though he would hate Batman if they went with this idea, Joker was still the one who put him through the torture. It makes no sense, but hey, bees being able to fly also doesn't make sense. I'm just kidding, that's a myth. Don't take everything you hear literally. But they sorta did that with Tim Drake in Batman the Animated Series. But at the last second, he turned on the Joker and cried in Barbara's arms. I'd be cool with this theory being done in live action for a different take on the character, but again, diehard fans will probably start sharpening their pitchforks. Number 4, a meaningful death. There are a lot of villains in Batman's rogues gallery, and some people could argue that now that Marvel's completed the whole Steve Rogers, Bucky Barnes dynamic in the films, we don't need to see that sidekick turned anti-hero villain anymore. Having Jason Todd stay dead in the film universe, and with his suit just sitting there in the Batcave, his death would serve as a reminder to Batman that he screwed up. If the filmmakers do this, then they may want to highlight the darker side of Jason in his time as Robin. Meaning, let him kill bad guys while he is still Robin, not Red Hood. I may be wrong on this, but we never actually saw Jason kill anyone as Robin. He only did so as the Red Hood. As Robin, he always had his time of the months, channeling his rage to hurt criminals. He'd break bones even when they were already down, but he never did go for the kill. Breaking the kill rule behind Batman's back under the Robin identity would just add more layers to the already damaged ties between Todd and Wayne. Mixing his Robin with Red Hood would just add flame to the fire. Batman not only failed to save Jason's life, but he also failed to bring him out of the dark side.
You were the chosen out of Eden!
There's a counter argument out there somewhere where one could say Batman doesn't have a kill rule in this world. He kills a good 2 or 3 or 20 people in BVS. That's a valid point, but there were some speculations that Batman broke his kill rule after Jason's death. It's never stated or addressed in the film, so I don't know. But they could easily slide that theory into this one. We wouldn't see him be revived, but we could see him in one of Batman's weird reoccurring dreams. Everyone has those, right? Mine was about carrying a huge Rubik's Cube to a finish line. Number 5, a change in motivation. Part of what makes the Red Hood is his conflicting ideas about the kill rule. Batman never killed the Joker even after his sort of adoptive son was utterly slaughtered by him. He would not break his one rule even if the closest ones to him died. In this universe, that concept can still apply. We see Jared Leto's Joker roaming around still happily ruining everyone's lives. But there's one tiny little catch. Batman does murder people. I mean, this guy gets his face 3D printed onto the side of this box. There are some stubborn troopers that claim that he's not really killing them, and that he's using a paintball gun or something. If it helps you sleep at night, then that's what he did. So why is he A-okay killing smaller, unknown extras, and against killing big-name criminals like Deadshot, Harley Quinn, or the Joker? He even goes out of his way to try and kill Superman, the Jesus of the DCEU. Batman's breaking his kill rule on the wrong guy. In Jason's eyes, it looks like Wayne's getting anxious of other heroes being around. It's brilliant, jealousy over justice. So Jason could be pretty mad that it takes an alien trying to save the city to push Batman over the edge. Granted, he did level a city. All of his anger towards Batman could make Jason feel as if Batman's losing it, seeing that he's over here hunting down heroes instead of the Joker. He could be all like,
I thought dressing up as that thing made you scarier, not make you blind as a bat. The man was trying to save Metropolis, and your old ass is over here trying to kill him, Batman. What? I'm Batman. Screw you.
The thing about this theory is that it really justifies Red Hood's side of the argument. With this, you could easily integrate his whole spiel about Gotham deserving a better protector. I'd be so down for this. So those were my thoughts on how Jason Todd's Red Hood could be introduced into the DCEU. How do you think he could be brought in? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, consider following me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And for more of my videos, just click right here.